Hugh Keevins may be old, but no one's too old to resist a dig at Celtic Football Club. Welcome back to Folk Football. Big Hugh Keevins, man, getting absolutely stuck into Celtic following their Old Firm defeat, which is funny. We'll see if I agree with what he said. But to sum up the article, gutless Celtic kick Rodgers on the backside and now face uncharacteristic critical crowd. Now that's according to Hugh Keevins. So let's dive into what he has to say. It shall be interesting. He said gutless, not a word that can often be applied to a Celtic side working under Brendan Rodgers' management, but in the competitive environment at the Old Firm fixture at Ibrox on Thursday afternoon, Brendan had the majority of his troops given a dishonourable discharge because of Cardus in the line of fire. The lower was in short supply on a day where there were more chicken hearts than you'd find in a poultry farm. It would be an insult to your own intelligence to suggest a comprehensive defeat from Rangers as the beginning of the collapse of all time for Celtic in the Premiership title race. If Rodgers somehow contrived to fail in the defence of the title won for the last 3 seasons and from a leading position that was 14 points high at a watermark, it would make him a laughingstock in the coaching world. End of quote. Well, I'll tell you what, man, I mean, it's not going to happen, but if it did, it would. I mean, I totally agree with Hugh Keevins there. It's a good thing for Rodgers that it won't happen, but you know, Big Phil, plenty going around for Big Phil to lay his teeth into, man. I'm telling you, Big Phil, he can't resist a wee bit of that Big Brendan. And it's kind of funny, like, because I mean, the amount of people having a go is through the bloody roof here. In the Twitter, even in our comment section, I've seen a lot of people have a go at Celtic, but I tell you what, like, Brendan Rodgers, he's done well to get Celtic that far top of the league because, you know, he's only a draw against Dundee United and Aberdeen up to this point. He's the one that got them there at the end of the day. I mean, the players helped as well. I don't think anyone's going to deny that, but I mean, could you imagine if that 3-0 defeat closed the gap to 5 or 6, and it's if buts maybes at the end of the day. That's down to Big Phil and Rangers that have thrown that away at the end of the day, because I tell you what, the meltdown would be larger. I mean, if it was me and Rangers were 14 points clear, I mean, and we went down back to 11 after a 3-0 defeat, and here something like that very similar could have happened during the 55 days, I would be on the same side as, I'd probably argue, the minority of Celtic fans right now that are having a go at the manager and the players, because there is no excuse for that. You know what I mean? Like, if you, as much as most of us do think the league is over, if you get it to 17 points, that's a monumental gap. Like, that's a monumental gap in any league, let alone Scottish football. 11, it's pretty much done, but you can't be too confident, you know what I mean? Because I can remember, I think it was Rangers against Hamilton during 2021, and we were 1-0 up, and we conceded like last kick of the game, and I remember being fuming at that result, even though in the grand scheme of things I don't think it really mattered because we were that far ahead. But I remember it was earlier on in the season. Point is, when you're on top, you want to win every game. You want to win any game anyway, even when you're not on top, i.e. right now for my club. But yeah, it's nowhere near panic stations. But big Hugh Keevins said, and Brendan's had enough setbacks to be going on with for 1 week. If Celtic had defeated Rangers, the manager would have overtaken Martin O'Neill when it came to wins against our greatest rivals, a distinction that would have been added to his legend status at the club. Rodgers bent down to have that particular medal placed around his neck. Then his own team kicked him on the backside. Now he and his players will come out to face an uncharacteristically critical crowd this afternoon when they face St Mirren at Celtic Park. Old Firm derbies are about the day on which they take place. Context is an alien concept. Rangers fans delighted in the novelty aspect of their team's derby win because they have been on the receiving end of several losses of late. And that's it, man. Rangers need it to win it big time, but I don't know if I agree with Hugh Keevins. Is Celtic Park going to be uncharacteristically critical? It depends, but I think even if Celtic won that Old Firm, I think most people would tend to agree. If Celtic are 0-0 at half time, there seems to be a wee bit of, you know, jeering, so to speak, float around Celtic Park. So don't think it really matters in that regard. But anyway, guys, is it panic stations for Celtic? What if Stephen Robinson takes him to the sword in a few short hours' time? Guess we'll have to find out and see. But anyway, your thoughts down below. This is Fog Football. Peace and out. Hibs, Rangers. Be there. Be square.